Okay, we are recording.
Okay, thank you. This meeting is the committee meeting, April the 20th, 2020 at 7:06 p.m. We'll start off on the agenda. We're starting off with finance. And the first thing under finance will be review and sign the bills. I don't know if we got anybody other than myself, to review and sign the bills. Last I heard, we hadn't. But for those that are here.
Won't let him in without a password. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Mr. Jenkins.
It won't let him in.
I'm going to tell him to call on his phone.
Yeah, okay, he should have he should have had a password. Shouldn't have needed a password. He may have to restart his computer.
Or he can just use a cell phone.
Yeah, you just call it on the phone.
That's what I just told him, calling on the phone.
But anyway, last I checked with Luann this evening, we only had just my signature on the bills, so I was the only one to review. But we need 2 more signatures. I sent emails out this past weekend notifying people that we needed signatures. So all 8 of the aldermen, all 7 aldermen should have got that email. But we need to have those reviewed and signed because before May the 1st. So Ms. Davis can write the checks and pay the bills before the year starts. And that'll come out of this year's budget. So if anybody can get down to City Hall tomorrow, or if anybody's at City Hall now, we need 2 more signatures on the bills.
There's nobody here at City Hall, and nobody signed up.
Right. Well, that's what I'm asking now. And the alderman is at the meeting tonight, and I sent emails out to everybody.
I got it. To be quite honest with you, I was told at one point by an alderman that unless the finance committee was completely unavailable, that my committee, or the other 4 aldermen, shouldn't be signing because the finance committee aldermen know what's going on. So I did not come up.
Well, thank you, but I didn't get no response from anybody but Rick. And I think he was kind of under the weather or didn't want to come out. He was the only one that responded.
Okay. Well, if it's I understand Jessica not coming up, for goodness sake.
I understand Jessica not coming up.
I can come up Wednesday.
All right. And Ms. Johnson, can you come in sometime and sign bills?
Yes, I will be there tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Second on the agenda is a recommendation for authorization for up to $5,000 for the protection barrier and installation at the service counter at City Hall. From what I understand, we only got 1 bid.
Well, we need more than that.
It was a little less than $5,000. Also, from what I was told, that another company said that if we built the frame and everything, they would install the glass. I don't have a price on that. Luann, did you have a price on that, or Mr. Mayor?
The young man came in and looked it over today, and he was going to check with his, I guess, soon-to-be father-in-law or his father-in-law and come up with some ideas. But he looked over the bid that we already got, and he said that, that was a decent bid. So
I think that.
You said he said it was a decent bid?
Yes.
Shouldn't this be going through public property since City Hall is a public property? Shouldn't this go through the committee and get like 3 bids?
Well, I guess that would be okay.
I thought it had to meet a certain criteria dollar-wise to need 3 bids.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I thought it had to have a dollar level I didn't think this met the requirement for needing 3 bids because it
Well-
wasn't high enough.
Quite frankly, one bid and then some guy wanting us to build a frame does not give me a comfort zone. If we're going to spend $5,000 or right at $5,000, I want to know.
$4,002.
Okay, same difference. I want to know there's insurance. I want to know that is this tempered glass? What are they doing? I want something in writing, and I think that we need 3.
Well, I called in
Okay,
2.
then you need to change the ordinance then to say
Yeah.
that all bids, not, because there's a dollar amount, I don't remember what it is. There's a dollar amount in the ordinance that says where you need 3 bids.
Okay, let me interject here. I think what's on the agenda is an authorization up to $5,000. So if we get a bid under $5,000, whoever we get it from, the money will be already authorized to be spent. So we don't have to go through and wait for the full council again or whatever to vote on it. So the recommendation tonight is to authorize up to $5,000 for the barrier. And we still can look at other bids.
This is Charlie. Do you want me to get 2 more bids then? Is that what you're saying?
No,
That's what I'm
Here's the-
saying. Yes, Charlie.
I've got,
Luann may be saying no. Sherry is saying yes.
well, here's the deal. I've got what is designed, and we can get other bids. That's just the one that came in because the second bid, they said they couldn't do it. That was Martin Glass. And so then this guy that I talked to today, he was thinking about building the framing and have Martin Glass. So I'm waiting on his bid to come back. I'm not jumping into this, just willy-nilly.
Well, I think it should be an alderman actually doing it. That's
Well-
their job.
Well, that's fine too, but for tonight, it's a recommendation that we authorize up to $5,000.
We want to, if we can
For
get
the-
this
for
done
the
before the
barrier.
end of, Mr.
Not
Jacob,
necessarily the bid. So if we get a bid, as long as it's under $5,000, and we decide on who we want to do the job, then they'll know that we're not going over $5,000.
And these bids, are they out and they're telling us we're getting tempered glass and we're getting this and we're getting that? It's a written bid, not a, hey, I can do that for.
No, I
No what?
I have for this bid right now, he has all the metal work. I've got pictures of it. It's gonna be a type of glass. It's called safety glass. It's not tempered because tempered would be when you hit it, it would shatter and go into little beads. This is like a
Windshield.
windshield. It's got a film in it that it cracks, but you can't go through it right away. And it doesn't fall all over the place. So that's what I've got right now. And the young man is working up his bid. He just came in today. And he said he would work with Martin Glass to put the actual glass in from whatever he comes up with. I've got to call up another one up in Highland, and I'm waiting on his bid to come in.
Well, Luann, I really think that Charlie needs to do this. This is the job of an alderman. You can give him what you've got,
That's fine.
and
That's
you don't need to be doing it. Let
Okay.
us do our job.
Well, okay, then you need to do it then, because I waited a whole week and a half and decided to do it myself because nobody stepped forward to do it.
Well, it's public property.
Yeah, there's some things, this is Charlie, I don't mind getting a couple more bids or sending people up there, but your name, this isn't putting it on you, Luann, but it was under your name. It's the only reason I didn't say anything about it. A lot of
We're getting
things,
back to,
there's some things out there that should be public property. I realize that they could put under something else, but as public property, I don't mind getting bids at all.
and Charlie, that's fine, but the issue tonight
Okay,
is a recommendation to To
to
fund the
exceed
project up
5,000.
to $5,000. That's the finance part.
Okay, so not to
I mean,
exceed
so
$5,000.
what we're trying to do right now is authorize the payment up to $5,000 to whoever get the bid.
Okay, $5,000 is top.
But shouldn't we wait until we get the bids in and then say we can do this one? I mean, what happens if somebody comes in at 6,000 and they are much better? Shouldn't
Mr.
we
Jenkins?
get the 3 bids?
Well, right now, we're looking at up to $5,000. Now, if somebody comes in, I guess, with a bid over that, then we'll have to rehash this again and
Mr.
then
Jenkins,
we'll do the bid. But I don't think it should be over $5,000. Matter of fact, I don't even think it'll be $5,000. But we can wait and see what Charlie comes up with. But for tonight, we want to authorize up to the $5,000.
Mr. Jenkins.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Do we need to authorize that yet until we have the bids?
Hold on a minute. Somebody, who is it?
That's mayor, I think.
I was trying
Was
to
that
get
the
in,
mayor?
but yes, as you and I spoke, I consider this an emergency issue, which, as you know, and the other council members know, we have authority up to $5,000 for what we consider an emergency. That plus the fact that the council has given the mayor additional powers during this time. We'd really like to get this thing done, if possible, and paid for in this fiscal year. Like I mentioned to you, the money is available in the administration. We are way under budget. I'm not way under budget, but we're under budget significantly. And we don't believe in a moment that it's going to be more than the $4,004 that we have as an estimate right now. We think it's going to be less. But the bottom line is we want to get it done. It's an emergency. It's more than just COVID-19. We've heard the ladies speak of the concerns that they've had, even from a prior accountant. And to me, it's an emergency. As I mentioned to you, I wanted this to go through the committee tonight so that we could feel comfortable in moving forward. Like I mentioned to you, I believe that I have the authority to do that under these emergency rules, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to come to you because we were taking care of business and we plan to, but we want to be in a position where we can act immediately if the opportunity arises that would allow us to get it paid under this current budget year and get that thing up sooner rather than later. That's what I'm looking for. And if you guys don't want to go along with that, then I'll have to consider going the emergency route.
Well, it's not an emergency because City Hall is closed.
It may open soon, but
No.
there are a couple things that have been said in this discussion that I really disagree with. It is not the role of an alderman to go out and seek bids. That's why we have staff that do that. We do not have the authority as an individual alderman to do anything without the entire council saying we can. So Penny came up here and said she normally gets bids. The staff normally gets the bids. That's the first thing I disagree with. I think it is an expense. This is an appropriate meeting for it. The mayor does have the authority to do it without us, and we ought to do something so that it's cleaner than what we're trying to say it is. It's just that we can't be penny wise and pound foolish on some things, and this is an issue that needs to be taken care of. We can get it done within this fiscal year. We have the money available in this fiscal year. Why dip in the next year just on a technicality? That isn't even a technicality. I'm sorry, but I'm tired of listening to some of this.
Well, that's part of the conversation me and the mayor had. We want to do it this fiscal year, so that don't leave us much time. And according to the budget under admin, it's a little over $36,000 that we got in the budget under admin to do the project. So the money is there.
Okay.
And with the information that I got from Luann, It's going to be a little less than $5,000. Now, I was told that, well, I went over that story already. So, but anyway, tonight, we wanted to approve the money. And if we got to bid in and we're going to have the job, we want to approve the money. So whoever does the job, the money will be there and the approval will be there for the funds.
I will make a motion to authorize spending up to $5,000 for the protection barrier and installation at the service counter in City Hall.
I
Are
have
we
one.
doing a motion or you're doing a recommendation for next week's
I'm
meeting?
making a motion to send the recommendation to the
Okay.
council for next week, but then there'll only be 4 days to get it done and paid for. Unless we want to suspend the rules and make a motion tonight.
This is Charlie again. Was there a timetable if we hire this particular person when they could get it done?
Yeah,
What was it,
within the
Luann?
next 2 weeks.
Okay,
The next few weeks,
it's
2
2 weeks, I think she said.
So this week and next week, which will take us through the end of the year.
it'll have to be no later than the 30th.
Well, the mayor can spend the money under the emergency rules without a motion or anything from the council. We gave him that authority because we can't always meet the same way we usually do.
So Charlie, you made the motion, right?
No, George made it, but I'll second it.
George made it, okay. And you second?
Yeah,
Okay. So then we need to vote?
I don't think, can we vote in committee?
Really don't vote in, you're correct, we don't vote in committee,
You're
but
right.
we're making a recommendation to the mayor who has the authority to do it.
Well, I thought you were making the recommendation for next Monday's meeting.
Well, that would have been a recommendation for next Monday's meeting, except that we're under a time constraint with the end of the fiscal year. So I'm saying, rather than a motion, I recommend the mayor go ahead with it under his emergency authority right now. I'm seeing
And
another
Charlie,
alderperson.
yeah,
and I also concur.
I'll second that.
And I concur.
That's 3. Need 1 more to make it official. I see.
Jen agrees.
All right.
I would
Okay,
agree
so-
too, George. This is Rick.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's been approved. That,
Okay, then we'll move forward as fast as we can on this deal and get it done right away.
All right. Thank you.
all right. Okay, that was it for finance. Health and safety, do you have anything? Oh, I see something here for a medical fogger. I'm not exactly sure what that is or how it works.
The chief was going to talk about that, and the chief had an emergency, family emergency out of town quite a ways, so he's on the road up to a hospital up in northern part of Illinois, so he's not available this evening. He said that he would take it up with council at a later date.
Okay, then.
Did
So
you
we'll-
talk to him, Mayor,
Well, we texted.
about, well, the chief talked to me about it, and basically what it is, it's a fogger that disinfects, and you can use it to disinfect offices, police cars, storage areas, anything like that that needs disinfecting. And he said that he was going to get some information on it and get it to me to send out to you guys, but he didn't get it to me in time. So that's basically what it is. And I think he said it was, I'm going to say in the vicinity of 19,000, which he thinks he has it in his area of monies to do that, because one of the agencies in the government is going to reimburse 75% on these things. So
Let's
he's,
just wait on this discussion till the chief comes. He's got all the information, and really, and he'll have it all in front of him. We're going to even go through all this now because he's the one that has all the numbers and the reasons and all that stuff.
Rather than,
So
I would say, can we just recommend it be put on next agenda so the council can act on it?
Sure,
You want it on
that would be,
council agenda?
yeah, under
Okay,
health
so
and safety.
So we'll table that. The default.
No, we're not
That's it for
tabling
him.
it. We're recommending it for the agenda.
Okay, well, we recommend it for the agenda for the council meeting.
Sounds good. Yeah. That way, if it's something we need sooner than later, we can just get it.
All right. Well, anyway, whatever. We'll wait for the chief to come back with more information.
Right.
Next on the agenda will be personnel. Recommend a 3% pay increase to be given to city employees and supervisors personnel effective 1 May 2020.
I
Let
have
me,
no,
do you want to take this, Sherry?
no. I was
Oh,
going to make
okay.
a comment, but you started and I stopped.
Okay, so why don't you let me go through what I'm going to, and then you can make your comment. In accordance with not only the personnel plan, but the current cost of living increase, what we're recommending is a 3% pay increase be given to city employees, the ASME employees, and all supervisory and or temp or part-time employees as well. The ASME contract, number 2, goes along with this. What we would do is extend that for a period of 1 year. They are in agreement with that, keep everything in the ASME contract as is, and the only thing that we would do is have a 3% pay increase. Ed Laporte said if we approve that, then we can simply send him a letter formalizing it. They would sign off on it, we would send off on it, and in essence it would simply extend the contract for a period of 1 year with a 3% pay increase for the city employees and supervisory personnel.
What is
And I
the cost of living at this point?
2.8%. And we had said before when we did that, we would round that up to 3% if it was that close.
Okay, I have no complaint about the city employees. They're not under a union contract. I would say, yes, they have to have, that's fine. I do not, as I stated last time we talked about this, approve of dealing with a union when it's not negotiated, when it's not anything. You worked real hard to get that contract to end a year before the police contract. You did whatever you needed to do that. And now you're going to put it right with the police contract. And I just don't think over the phone dealing with the contract, these guys will get back pay to May 1st. It may not be that long. It may be a month that you can get with the union and work things out. And I don't agree with messing with the union contract like that.
The legal folks have also been involved in this and have told us that is perfectly legal as long as we have a formal letter stating that they are in agreement and we're in agreement with that. I understand we worked very hard to get that done. However, we have a situation going on that is going to affect who knows how long of a period of time. And I don't want to see people have to get back pay at this point in time.
Well, I think that's what you're pushing for, is no back pay.
Well, I would say that, yeah. I think they ought to have their pay increase on 1 May.
Well,
and
the good news is they're all working and they're all getting paid now.
I agree. About the other aldermen, comments, issues?
Well, we've already got the budget for next year, so that should be included in the budget. So
It is.
1 May, I don't see any problem with giving them the 3% increase. rather than wait until another year and then have to go back and pay them all the way back to 1 May. A whole year worth of back pay. I'd rather just go on and pay it now over the period of time and be done with it.
This is Charlie. I
That's
agree
my
with what
opinion.
Mr. Jenkins said.
George?
I agree.
Jen agrees too.
Okay, then I'd like to just make this then a recommendation for the agenda for Monday's meeting. That we do this number 1 and 2.
Okay. Now,
And
when will you
George,
be
when we're
making?
done- George, when we're done, stay on the line a minute because I got a quick question for you.
All right.
And Rick, I got a question. When will we be get in touch with the union to let them know that we approved the
We
recommendation?
haven't approved it yet.
Well,
I have been talking with Ed Laporte and also by email and
Mhm.
our legal folks as well. And I will do that as soon as it's approved on Monday.
okay.
And we'll
That's
do up
all.
a formal letter that's sent to them, will be signed by them, and then signed by the mayor, extending it for a year if that's what's approved.
Okay. Now, will we have the letter at the meeting, next Monday's meeting for review?
I can probably put that, yeah. I'll have to send something to John and see if he can get it back to me.
What is
Okay.
that noise?
Somebody's got feedback going. They got a mic open.
Okay, so that concludes personnel?
That's it, yes.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Next on the agenda is old business. Discussion and recommendation concerning the pay structure of the collector's position.
What is
That
that?
was an area, that was something we had open along with the restructuring. And then when we were told that, in essence, the mayor and the clerk were going to take care of that they would work out who was doing what up there, we stopped doing anything with any of that.
Okay, so we don't have anything on that?
It's still breaking up.
Yes,
No updates?
yes. Hello,
You do? Yes, Luann,
can you hear me?
Yes.
I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay, here's what this is concerning. I've been trying to get something cleared up for quite a few years now. That the structure of the pay for the collector position, somehow it came up that 90% of the pay, because she did work here at the office instead of at home or on the weekends, and we meaning the office up here needs some clarification on that what exactly is that position now, since it's not a supervisory position anymore. Do I personally get the step increase that I would normally have gotten? I missed out on the first one that everybody in their second year gets, which was 8% increase. I didn't get that. I got a nickel instead. And now this is the third year and I'm supposed to get a 5% increase plus whatever you deem necessary to give everybody. And I'm just wanting to know if I'm, if the position is going to be back to where it used to be.
Okay, and I would have to go back to the mayor and to you when we were in the meeting and we were going to do that. We'd set up another meeting to try it on that Friday afternoon at 1:30 to try to finish going through that structure of the front area up there. And we're told by you all that that was an administrative function and you all were going to handle that. And I haven't heard anything since then. We were told to cease and desist working on that. So I was waiting to hear back from you all on the restructuring up there so we can determine that.
Well, it probably needs to be determined pretty soon. I thought we were gonna get together again after the meeting with you and the mayor and myself, and we haven't heard anything back, or I haven't heard anything back, so.
I'll have to
Some of
find
this
out from
stuff
Rich.
is you've got to, you've got to realize that this is a busy office up here, so I would appreciate the help of trying to, if we need to make up another meeting, to, don't feel like you're hurting my feelings to call a meeting, because it's a lot easier for me to jump into a meeting with you guys up here than schedule all you with everything that I have to do up here already. But
Well,
there-
we'll have to talk with the mayor because we were told pretty much that y'all were going to take care of that. So I will talk with him and see what direction now y'all want. It sounds like you want something else done than that. So
Yeah, I mean, how the thing is run up here is one thing. The personnel manual is something else.
well,
Can I
but
ask a-
the duties that make up which person does what is what we were trying to go through and organize, so that you can make a determination as to how much percentage of a time one person does versus the other, and who is actually doing what role up there now that we have the building code enforcer. And that's what we were trying to accomplish, and we're told to cease and desist that. So,
Well, I think you took that the wrong way, Rick.
okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
What was
ma'am.
8%? What was 8%?
8%
I know there
when
are
you-
some, huh?
That's
The
the
second year, I mean, after your first year employment in this town, you're supposed to get an 8% increase. I did not receive
Really?
that.
it's
I
the
didn't know
step-
No,
that.
I received a nickel increase because they said I was a supervisor. I got the 3% like everybody else got, but I mean, it was supposed to be 8% plus 3%. So I mean,
So an
I hope you
11%
guys,
increase? Dude.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was, Sherry.
Is this in writing, this 8%? Honestly, I know about the steps and I know about
Yes, it is.
the 3%,
That's
but I don't know about this 8%. That's why I'm asking.
That's in the
That is
manual.
the step.
I'm
That's the
sorry,
step, Sherry. That is the step
8% is the step, not 5%?
for the second year.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
this year I'm supposed to get 5%, and I'm wondering if I'm gonna get that. So, I mean,
And that's on top of the annual cost of living increase.
right.
And okay, I'm gonna bring this up and probably be the hated person, so if y'all hang up on me, I understand. I don't understand why we are not doing performance reviews if we're gonna give out this kind of money. I'm not
Well-
saying anybody's doing a bad job, I'm just saying
No.
that this needs to happen.
I'm understanding that in a way.
I'll,
But
I'll be honest, Sherry, as to why. Because you all, before I joined, got rid of it. And when Joe tried to make these changes to include not having steps and cost of livings, the alderman
I
shot him
didn't
down.
say
at that
that.
point
I said a cost of, a performance review, not
Right.
just because it's May 1st. And I'm not saying there's one bad employee out there, not one. My question is, there are cities that are laying or furloughing people, and here we are giving these kind of increases, which is lovely as long as we can afford them, but we should be giving a performance review. I've never worked at a job where I didn't get a performance review.
well,
And
I'm understanding that, Sherry, but I mean, that is something that's out of everybody's hands right now until you guys decide to put it back in your hands. What I'm saying is, I lost an 8% increase and I got a nickel instead of in my pay raise, my per hour. And I just think I stepped up to the plate and worked my tail end off for the city and did numerous jobs that you hired full-time person to do. And I'm not understanding why I didn't get my increase. I guess that's it.
Well, I think we probably just need to look into the whole thing. And Rick already said he talked to the mayor. And
I will talk with the mayor again.
Well,
yeah.
and there's just a couple things to kind of clear this up too. When there's a rule like this, 90% of the pay instead of, I found nothing anywhere that's written down. And so once again, I think when we come up with these rules and these statements, we need a book that they're written down in.
There's no rule that says you get 8% or 11 or whatever
No,
it is?
that you do. No,
Oh,
you get,
okay.
that's there. But what they did with my job when I came, they said, okay, well, 8 hours every 2 weeks, I spend on the job doing clerk stuff, and the rest of it I'm doing collector stuff. And that's a halfway decent call there, I guess. But what they did was they took my pay for the collector, but I got paid by the hour. They divided that and they took off 10%, because 10% is 8 hours out of 80-hour week. 2 weeks. That's how they did that. But it's not written down anywhere. And I think it came about during Park Smith's time, because I've heard the stories, that Pam wanted to do most of all the agendas and the minutes and that on the job, and only do the 2 to 3 hours every 2 times a month as not being on the job. For the clerks, I think it was 5,700 at the time, not 6,000. But and I understand that if you don't want, but with all the work that I was taking on, there was no way I was doing minutes and everything during my 8-hour shift during the week. There's just no way. And you could verify that by asking anybody, did I have time to put headsets on and listen to a 2-hour tape and take notes? No. I did that all on the weekends. So, I understand why she wanted it that way, but I
This
don't
is actually a
know if
discussion
there
that
was
should be
no,
going on in a closed session.
say what?
This is actually a discussion that should be going on in a closed session because it's dealing with a single employee and the compensation of a single employee.
Good point.
Is there any, I don't know, are there any audience people that are asking us anything? I'm on the
They're
phone,
not-
so I don't know.
They're not asking us. So they just, one comment from Penny is, I don't think Pam got steps, but the audience is listening to it. Somebody said we should hire a consultant, and they're talking about the fogger, but there's nothing out there about this. However, quite frankly, we need to be very careful about what we're putting on the agenda and what's going to be discussed, because this is a discussion about an individual employee's compensation, and that is in the Open Meeting Act. And I'm pretty sure John would be agreeing with us if he was here.
Well, originally it was just to say whether that position was going to be
Right. As soon as it
a
went off,
supervisor or an employee position. I don't know
right.
what you want to call
But
it.
as soon as it went off on individual
Yeah, you're
salary and all
right.
that, we're off. We're in an area that we shouldn't be discussing in an open meeting.
So can I be safe to say that on the old business, we can hold this until after we make some contact with Luann and the mayor
Right.
And I probably would have to go back through some old paperwork to find out exactly what is what.
Right, and depending upon what's going to be discussed, whether or not it's going to be an open meeting item or a closed meeting item, and then the vote would then be in an open meeting if there is a vote on something.
Okay, after we look into this, then we can decide on whether we're gonna have a closed meeting or open meeting if
Yeah.
we need to have a closed meeting, and then we can set a date for that.
Right.
Yeah, as long as you do the voting in an open meeting.
Right,
Right.
okay.
Is that another
So-
one you want on the next agenda?
Sure.
I'm sure it'll be on there, but the decision is whether it's going to be an open or closed item. And I have another note from Penny on the wastewater treatment plant.
Oh, and
Okay,
I know she doesn't make a report at this one, but she says there is a startup on new equipment at this wastewater treatment plant beginning slowly despite the COVID slowdown. Startup on the generator and blowers taking place currently.
that sounds good.
okay. So there's gonna be a startup?
Yeah, they're starting up some of the equipment in the wastewater treatment plant, and it's beginning slowly despite the COVID-19 slowdown.
Oh, I got it.
That's what she put down as her note. It's in, if you go to the video, it'll be in the chat section of the video.
Okay. Do we have anything for new business?
One thing. The
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Luann's
instructions
trying
on
to,
how to
go ahead, Luann.
the instructions on how to participate in the meetings that are on the bottom of the committee agenda. Did they work for everybody?
They did for me as far as the phone call.
I think,
They did not let me on
yeah,
without a
you
password.
may have had an old agenda up on your computer or something because there
No,
was no password on this.
I cut and pasted yours.
I know you did. I'm saying Rick might have had something because
I
there
gotcha.
was never a password set for this one. I set up all the meetings for everybody to go into. I turned the system on 30 minutes before the meetings. However, I set it up to go into a waiting room until I come online as the host to for security. That was one of the Zoom security recommendations that we received. So that's why that's there. It is not, you may not go right into the meeting. You may go into a waiting room. Doesn't mean you need a password. I'm not.
George, it's actually asking me for a password before I even get beyond that screen. It will not let me join the meeting without a password.
That's interesting.
And all of Lynn's meetings groups that she has, they now are required by Zoom to have a password for every meeting.
Yeah, we should have a password. That's one of the security things that prevents Zoom bombing. And at one time I had this set up to automatically do a password. On this particular meeting, I didn't do the password. I will then, if you're suggesting that, if everybody's in agreement, I will put a password in for all future meetings. In fact, if we ever decide what we're going to do with this, I could set up meetings into infinitum with the same code and password, so it becomes less confusing. The other question I have, it's probably new business, is I know that right now this meeting is being shared as a stream, probably because somebody logged into it as a group and is sharing it from the group. That would be the only way, because according to Zoom, nobody is supposed to be able to stream a meeting without unless you're the host. Would you like me to start streaming these meetings? I can stream them to a Facebook page if the city sets up a Facebook page.
So if you stream them to the Facebook page, that means anybody in the public have access, right?
They can see it. They can't comment back, but they can see it on that page.
Okay, but they can't write comments.
No, they can't. We would have to have a way for them to get us comments. One way to do that would be to put a a phone number out there for texting, and somebody could text to a city, one of the city cell phones. Since we have a bargain on those. Text to the city cell phone, and a city employee could read the text messages to us.
Okay, the reason I was asking that because I've been watching church services on Facebook,
Right.
and during the church service, they got comments, and you can make comments. You can't talk, but you can write comments.
That's on Facebook. It would not be on. It would not be on our meeting site. It would be on the Facebook. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, but you were talking about Zooming
Right. We would Zoom.
or streaming to Facebook.
Stream it to Facebook.
Yeah, if you
And-
stream it to Facebook, that's what I'm saying. Can we still make comments after we get on Facebook?
If people are on Facebook, they can make comments, but they're not going to be. I don't know if they're saved or not. We'd have to look to see if they're saved. If they're saved on Facebook, we could go to Facebook and look at them, but we could not react to them during the meeting unless somebody was telling us what was on Facebook.
Right, I understand that.
The other way I can Zoom it is I can Zoom it to YouTube if we had a YouTube account.
Okay, would that be any different from Facebook?
No different, just looking at it in YouTube rather than Facebook.
So we got the option of either or.
Right, there's a third one, but that's a subscription, as far as I can see.
Okay.
Hey, George, I just
Yeah.
tried to go back in again,
Yeah.
and it's, again, saying enter meeting password. It won't let me get past that screen.
I have no clue. I'll suggest, why don't you, when you're finished the meeting, go off. Did you do a restart on your computer?
Yep, I did.
Okay, go off and
Rebooted it.
I'm going to email you. I'm going to email you another login and see if that works.
Hey, Rich,
Okay.
where are you logging in at?
My house,
I mean, a computer, phone, what?
computer, a computer.
Are you typing it in, or are you going to our Facebook, our web page?
Typing in the meeting number.
Try going to our web page to news, and there's a thing that tells you to
Just
click
click on
on
the
it.
link.
and click on the link and see if you can get in that way.
Anyway, is the meeting still going on while we're doing this?
Yeah. Hey, Luann, this is Charlie. Be sure tomorrow to get in touch with that guy about the barrier. Okay, and tell him he has a certain number of days to complete that job.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, time's running short, so I know you'll do that, but I just want to remind you to do it or have someone do it.
If the
Okay.
meeting is over
Charlie,
officially, we can have discussions and I can turn off the recording.
yeah, that's true.
If we don't have anything else under new business, then does anybody have anything else under new business?
I just wanted to add, if anyone has anyone reach out to them and they need any financial assistance with mortgage, rent payments, water bills, electric bills. I do work for the county grants department. I popped up a website there. We are taking mail-in applications. They can go to that website and look for the grants applications there, or they may call have an application made to them for that assistance.
Could you email me that information, Jan?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, Rick.
That link works.
Yeah.
Yeah, when there's a link, click on the link. Don't try to put it in manually. It doesn't. If you miss one number or one,
No, I mean, I've got the number down, but it's every time I bring it up, it says, what's the password? Meeting
Yeah.
password.
it may have been an old number that you had.
All of Lynn's meetings require passwords now.
Okay. Well, I can put a password on our meetings. It's up to you all.
As long as all the aldermen have it.
Well,
Yeah.
the easiest thing is always to click on a link in the email that you receive with the information.
And it's still not working, Rick.
No, it is. I mean,
It is. He's online.
I'm
Oh,
online.
okay. Yeah, that's the easiest way is to go to that one and just click on that link and it'll take you right in there. And
But next week I'll set it up without a password again, because that makes it easier for the public. They don't have to worry about the password.
Yeah.
But every meeting has a new meeting ID.
right.
until we have our own account, if we do that, then I can set it up with the permanent meeting ID.
Okay.
Or
And
I can't, whoever's in
I
charge of
go
it.
and click, paste that new one on the agenda and on the website every
Right.
time.
That's right. That's
Oh.
what you need to do for now. Till we have somebody else doing this and we have our own account and whatever it is, because this is going to go on for a long time. I don't think this is no longer a permanent solution for a short time thing, because I'm hearing from official sources that the group stuff is probably going to go on till July, August, maybe even till next year.
Yeah.
And our city hall, there's no way we can spread out that far and have an audience. So we're going to probably have to be doing this for a while.
Okay. If there's nothing else for new business, I recommend we adjourn the meeting.
I agree.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll be talking to y'all later.
All righty.